His men's politics are all whining,
And
as
Democrats
opposed to the past.
are
Wait,
voting based
we're
on
entering
race.
that phase?
Can we do 2 minutes here? He's just going to interrupt me every 2
No,
seconds.
so the thing
we ain't doing 2 minutes. I just want to talk.
They're trying to elevate women and minorities. A guy actually
elevate women and minorities. You're getting my audience now. They hate women. Actual white people day to day in America are not being hurt by immigration. They're being hurt by capitalism, by inflation, by wage hikes and gas prices in cities that choke the life out of their.
Dumping millions of cheap
so again,
laborers
wait,
into
he
the
can't.
market, isn't that
He
helping them?
doesn't
Isn't that
care.
hurting them?
0% of you are subscribed. Fix that.
All right, so I guess I'll start with a quote. The Dalai Lama a few years ago said that Europe belongs to Europeans. It's like this post-World War II consensus driven by Jewish intellectuals, principally the Frankfurt School. You got Adorno, Horkheimer, Marcuse. You also have the Franz Boas School of Anthropology, Hitler 2.0, right? Third Reich 2.0. The last U.S. Census shows that the white population is only 60% in the U.S., down from 90% in the 50s. 6 U.S. states have fallen below 50% white. The fertility rates of white women were down in every U.S. state in 2017. Women fertility rates whites are dying faster than they're being born. 54%, racial minority. Antwerp 67%, Hamburg 34%, Amsterdam 54%, Vienna 54%. Leading politicians, elites, saying what they are doing, that they're actively trying to undermine our racial homogeneity in the West.
Appreciate that opening, Brandon. Vaush, we're going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, I guess all the work of the Frankfurt School was for naught. It's hard to deny racial differences when we see here the Caucasoid propensity for whinging. You have to make an argument. So you say there are more minorities in America. Fine. And? They like immigration. Yes? And? Bring me the Dalai Lama. I will call him racist to his face. I'll fight him. He's old and weak. And? What are the arguments here? Yes, obviously, there are more non-white people here in the States than there were before. Of course. Yes, they like multiculturalism and diversity. Seems to be generally a good thing. It's economically good. Immigration has proven quite good for our people in economic terms. Culturally, many of America's richest cultural exports are a product of our multicultural origins. From our food to our music, so much of what it means to be an American today and what it means to see Americans from abroad, it is courtesy of immigrants. They are Americans as they come here and as they are born here. I really do not care what the skin tone of the people who live here is or what their ethnicity or whatever ends up being. If you want to look at the fruits of your monoracial societies, then you can look around the world and I ask you, find me a stable society anywhere without interior ethnic conflict. You cannot. Usually, the idea is that there's some kind of like mono-ethnic state out there that can be contrasted against the crime-riddled United States. You know, only the strongest country to have ever existed in the history of the world. You know, I speak only from the position of humbly, you know, being on top of the world. But let's see what other countries are doing. Where can you find them? Every other country is riddled with ethnic conflict because ethnic conflicts are an inevitable product of having a country with more than one person in it. Ethnicities are infinitely divisible. If you look towards monoracial cultures, what, Japan, with their ailing economy and failing interior civic system, so beloved are their leaders that when Shinzo Abe was assassinated, the people of Japan basically shrugged and said, okay. And he was quite racist himself. Bring me Shinzo Abe's corpse. I will call it racist. I just don't understand. To you, the black person is scary, the Jew is scary. So you say they exist in our country and you imagine that's the argument. But I do not find them scary. Why should I be afraid? Why should I care?
Well, you're not denying that white people are going to become a minority, right?
Of course. What kind of idiot would deny this? It's obvious given the demographic
So why
trends.
would white people want to become a minority? See, that's the problem here. Well, white people becoming a minority is bad for white people, obviously, because our standing is diminished. They can persecute us.
Hold on.
Wait. Us at some point.
Before we get to the whinging, I exist in this world. I want to talk about this world. Actual harm. So far, despite literal centuries of whinging, the well-being of white people has not yet been diminished for the prominence and political power of minority groups. They've been talking about it for ages. I mean, what's that film? Birth of a Nation. Birth of a nation, they say, you know, the Klan will ride in, fix all America's problems after black people get to Congress or what have you. You know, the white grievance has lasted, you know, longer than my lifespan or yours, or that of our fathers or grandfathers, and yet nothing has happened. You know, you say in this abstract, you say the Jews claim that the minority is victimized. Why do you ascribe this belief to the Jews when you're the one fear-mongering over it? Do you agree with them that the minority is mistreated, or do you only agree with them when we refer to the whites?
I agree with them that a minority is vulnerable to be mistreated. Absolutely. Their political power is diminished because they don't have voting power. They can't vote as a bloc. I mean, they can try, but they're not going to win a democratic election by voting as a bloc. And this is what many Democrats say, that
then don't vote as a bloc.
Demographics is destiny, and that the more brown people in the country will help.
Wait, whenever I hear that, it is not the Democrats saying it. Democrats are not the ones who say the demographics are destiny. It's usually people like you. If demographics are destiny,
I have a Democrat saying that.
Well, I'm sure there are Democrats saying it. When I hear it, it's usually coming from folks like you. If there's any extent to which demographics are destiny, it's because Republicans are so racist. They have trouble, you know, pulling votes from racial groups that would otherwise be socially in agreement with them on quite a few issues, which is usually pretty funny.
So we're entering a phase where politics is totally racialized, and Democrats
as opposed to the past.
Voting based on race.
We're entering that phase.
Can we do 2 minutes here? He's just going to interrupt me every 2 seconds.
So the thing
we ain't doing 2 minutes. I just want to talk.
Yeah, you don't want to do 2 minutes because you just want to interrupt me.
Well, no, the thing is that it's going to be a contentious debate. I understand that. If it gets to the point of absurdity, I'll cut in, but it hasn't gotten there yet.
We're entering a period of racialized politics, like now, like that's happening now, as opposed to the past, which was deracialized.
Because they know that they can then abuse whites. They know that they can take advantage of whites.
Whinging,
they can do
the Caucasoid skull shape.
Saying they're going to be hiring more black people, 20% more black people this year. And
my suggestion is that you find a real social problem to cry about.
Black people to CEO positions simply because they're
black. Listen to you. This is the whinging. This is the weakness.
We have affirmative action already, and universities discriminating against white people.
Demographic capacity, in terms of economic and social attainment, white people are doing quite well here. And you hear a company go, we'll be hiring 2% extra people of color in our positions of management.
It's 20%.
And you shit yourself.
20%.
Listen,
Boeing said 20%. Big
we
guy.
are not, if you have a problem with the behavior of private companies in a free market, then you are fully aware of the God-given American way that you can deal with that, which is not buying their products. If you want to talk about what your actual position is, the Nazi shit, the white ethno-state, the what have you, you need to give me an argument for why I, a white man, should give a shit about non-white people entering the country. Because I don't care if they go ahead and hire some black CEOs or whatever, considering the fact that for the most part, black people are disadvantaged in this attainment.
You want non-whites to rule. You want white people to be diminished.
Can you get one point in that ain't just you complaining?
In a fetal position so that non-whites can dominate us.
Is this a kink thing? Are you every point you have is just we're weak, we're being hurt. So I ask you again, how is it hurting? Do you have an economic
trans rights, trans people are victimized. We need to help.
This debate is not about transgender people. That's one, but
I think it's about his kids. So this is the problem that I have, I think, with the Caucasoid skull shape and the political deformities it produces. His man's politics are all whining. He sees something on the news. He sees, oh, a company offers so-and-so to black people. Oh, this college does something I don't like. And he imagines oppression. This is a cognitive bias.
It is oppression.
You are capable, of course, of proving any point in a country as large as ours, the beautiful US of A, if you select for smaller points and try to cultivate a narrative. If you want to imagine white people oppressed, you can find evidence for it, especially if you're, pulling from headlines and are willing to be very, very sparse in the evidence that you get. In essentially every systemic sense, of course, white people are privileged in this country. In terms of all the opportunities available to them, white people are the beneficiaries of social bias.
every single policy is the Jews trying to keep us down, just as Jews preserve their nation in Israel.
Aren't you
and
kind of limiting your audience? Like, I'm only preaching Nazi shit to people who are already Nazis. You've got to win over my audience. You have to explain to them how their life is actually being negatively impacted.
They're trying to elevate women and minorities. A guy actually
elevate women and minorities. You're getting my audience now. They hate women and minorities.
Actually, the American Jewish Committee was neck deep in lobbying the government to change the quota system.
That's crazy. And the non-Jewish people listen to them. Are they not allowed to lobby?
Okay, so because they lobbied the government and got something passed, we all have to accept it and agree with it and not try to change it?
It sounds like you feeble-minded Gentiles were, susceptible to lobbying. It. I'm not. Well, the problem is that your premise is retarded. Every private interest group does lobbying for the government. You hyperfixate on the Jew, like, well, this one time, this one Jewish group. Right? But listen, I've done the circuit with these arguments. There's no like direct causative argument that could be made for like the Jews did this, but you like scapegoating it because you don't want to believe that other white people were responsible for you having to talk to a Mexican when you go get groceries now. You don't want to accept it, so you have to externalize it.
So because they convinced some white people in the government to do something, I have to accept it.
Where's the agency? Where's the agency for those white people? They did it. They passed the law.
Yeah. So what?
So, but then we were like, well, we were tricked by the Jews. Why are you so weak?
I didn't say we were tricked. I said they somehow convinced a number of politicians to agree with them. Based on
the basic ways lobbying function. Based on the basic function of lobbying. Yeah.
To replace my people.
Hold on. Nobody's replacing your people. It's just because you want something doesn't mean it's right.
And I think whites voting for Trump was an expression of that, wasn't it?
Yes, but we have to ask whether it's moral to want something. You're saying white people want this or want that. Well, now let's ask, is it good for them to want this? Is it morally just? Because if we just go by what people want. Okay. So you believe that every person it's always morally good for a person to advocate for something if it's good for them exclusively? Are you pro-rape?
I don't care if it's morally good, okay? I think that white people existing...
They're not sending our best.
So white people existing is immoral? Is that what you're saying?
What kind of retarded interpretation of what I said was that? Get the fucking banana out of your ear. When did I say that? No.
You're trying to get me to explain why us existing is a moral thing.
Do you think I said that white people existing is immoral?
Why would I ever have to justify our existence on moral grounds?
So we're not asking to defend your existence. I was just asking you if you think it's always moral for a group or a person to advocate for something just because they want it.
No, not in every case.
Okay. And then you said, I don't care about ethics, which is fantastic. Look, at the end of the day, the facts here are simple. Besides this like white grievance, we're about to be overtaken, we're going to lose our country bullshit that they've been saying for 150 years. Every bit of evidence we have towards the value of immigration has pointed in favor of continuing it. There's a reason why Nazis reject empiricism. It's because reality makes them look very bad.
Why do black people defend black people then?
We should defend everyone and try to maximize the well-being for everyone as best as possible. But why does BLM defend
black people then?
BLM doesn't advocate for a black ethno-state, Martinez. You are advocating for a white ethno-state.
They advocate for pro-black policy. They're not concerned about white people.
If those pro-black policies are sensible. The problem is when they say like pro-black policy, what they mean is helping black people. And when you say pro-white policy, you mean hurting white people. He won't let me talk.
Look, you interrupt as much as he does. I have a counter next to me. Like
so
sorry, it's just my white genes. I colonized the conversation.
Well, so look,
what's this racial grievance? I'm Polish, Irish, you're Martinez. We can't get along. The racial gap really does widen.
So I think that there are black politicians who probably do want to tilt immigration for black people.
Wait, hold on. Wait, who here is out there? What black politicians are saying we should stop having immigration from Western European countries? Get the fuck out of here. That's the thing. The difference is, and this is the reason why like Stacey chose Tyrone over you in school. It's because they're not cowards. When they say they value pro-black policy, they mean helping black people. When you say pro-white, you mean hurting black people. You're a coward. You don't give a fuck about helping white people. What are your policies on economic divestment? Wait, hey, policies on economic divestment. What will you do to help the wages of the average white working family? What are you going to do about economic alienation in the suburbs?
Joe Biden says it's a good thing whites are becoming a minority.
Give me a policy that'll help white people. Give me a policy that'll help white people.
Stopping immigration from
this is what I mean. It's always about hurting non-white people. You don't have one. What are you going to do about income inequality or capitalism?
Investing in white communities.
Investing how?
Let's have a pro-NATO policy.
All right, Vaush,
giving loans. I don't know, giving loans to small business owners, whatever. There's a lot of things that can be done.
Giving loans to small business owners. Okay.
The fact is that Joe Biden says it's a good thing whites are becoming a minority, and you should surge the border. That was his statement in the debate with Trump in 2020. Surge the border, and that's exactly what they did. Because he knows that these non-white people coming in are going to be good Democrat voters.
This is exactly what I mean. If you, and I'm being serious here, if you talk to a BLM activist, hey, what can you do to help black people? They're policy invested. They'll tell you about ways to like reshuffle the city's treasury, to invest in this or that, to care about the system. But this guy, how will you help white people? By banning immigration. This guy's a fuck. No, stop. Hold on. This guy's wait, man, Martinez. You're talking too much. It's crazy.
White people are going to go extinct, and so I think that's kind of helping.
He doesn't care about white people. He cares about the race war. But actual white people day to day in America are not being hurt by fucking immigration. They're being hurt by capitalism, by inflation, by wage hikes and gas prices in cities that choke the life out of their.
Dumping millions of cheap laborers into the market. Isn't that helping them? Isn't that hurting their wages too?
He only cares about white people insofar as it's a vehicle to hurt non-white people.
Doesn't it hurt their wages to dump millions of low income or low educated
wages on average go up through immigration?
Labor. So you're telling me wages go up. Millions and millions of low skilled labor makes wages go up?
Yes, it's been proven over and over. Really? This is what I mean. So he doesn't even know the data on this because he only pretends to care about white people when it gets back at Tyrone from high school. It's never about white people.
Flooding a labor market makes the wages go up.
Yes, labor's a resource. Keep up.
This is almost like the opposite of what so many economists say.
You can research it. Okay, just Google it. Google. It's there. No, stop getting mad at me for you not doing research. You can Google it.
So, like, I don't know anyone who's.
I don't care what you know. You don't know anything. Do it. Google Borjas, wage studies, immigration research. Here, I have links on this. Hold on. How could bringing Jorge in here possibly? I'll show you. I'll happily show you. The research has been done, but you don't care. You don't care at all. It's about the race war to you.
Wasn't there research to the opposite?
You can put that in the private chat.
Yeah, I will. Here, hold on. Let me. I gotta find it. There's a big link.
You know, I know you want to turn every single country in the world into the tranny utopia, into the rainbow nation, into the rainbow nation. But so you're an imperialist, right? You're a cultural imperialist. You don't want there to be any nation on earth that differs from your view.
I'm a tranny imperialist. Every single guy will be feminized.
Yes, you are a tranny imperialist.
This is you want everybody to be This is a real political belief that serious people care about.
Stop with that word too, Martinez. Don't use that word on the channel.
I can use it because I have trans friends. Also,
transgender is fine.
He's trans himself, so he can use these slurs.
Alpha to Sigma. That's right. Whew.
Jews, Jewish, Jews, and their agendas. Jews. Let's just mix all the people together and have a brown race.